Hey guys, Melon here, and today I want to talk a little bit about a question that I often get that I think needs me to discuss in a little bit bigger way. It's not as simple as a yes no answer, it's not as simple as black and white, good and bad, right and wrong. This is a huge problem, and it's something that you're going to see is going to reoccur along the way as you move towards your very best. Things aren't as simple as they've always been taught to us. Things aren't just good and bad. That's just not the way the world works. So let's go deeper. Should I drink coffee? Should I drink tea? Should I drink colas? Should I eat meat? Should I eat chicken? Should I eat fish? Should I eat eggs? Should I eat dairy? Can I eat cheese? Can I drink alcohol? Can I have sex? Oh my God. Guys, first and foremost, you can do whatever you want in this program. Okay. I don't want to be the person that's holding you back from anything. I want to be the person that's inspiring you and helping you to move towards your greatest self. And does it really make sense that your greatest self is about denying everything in your life? I don't think that your greatest self is about eliminating everything in your life, maybe the things that you love most in your life. Okay, it's not about total elimination of things. Okay, first of all, it's not as clear cut whether something is right or wrong. And to address this properly, I want to pull in another resource. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to let's pull up a pH chart. Okay, pH is the way that we determine if something in our life is alkaline or acidic, right? There is a pH chart. What does pH stand for? It's the potential hydrogen. It's a molecule. It's something to do with electrons moving about in the atomic space. Okay? You kind of got to get into science to understand it completely, but we're talking about the movement of electrons. This is what makes something alkaline or makes it base. Okay, so acids are on, of course, the acid side of chemistry, and then we've got things that are more base, more alkaline, more physical, more tangible. They're on the base side of chemistry. Now, the human body, the cells, operate at 7.3 to 7.4. That's the optimal pH of the cell. Okay, that's when the cell is happiest and healthiest and most functional. So great if we can keep the body pH between 7.3 and 7.4 all of the time. This is great. But now understand that nobody in the physical world is always going to be perfect. Do you know a perfect person? I don't know any perfect people. So can you drink this, have that, do this? You can do whatever you want. There is no perfect people. There is no perfect person. And to say that you can't do something because your personal trainer said so, I think this is wrong. But to address this more deeply, I want to pull up a chart and show you what I mean about pH. So let's take a look. Okay, let me just share my screen here with you and let you see. Here is a pH chart. Can you see that? Okay, notice that the pH chart, it really runs from 1 all the way up. It runs from 1 all the way up to 14, the pH chart. So this pH chart that we have here, it runs from 3 to 10. Okay, so it's not complete, the chart, but what I like about this chart and this example is it gives you more than food and fluid on it. It gives also some characteristics that affect our pH, and that's what I really like about this chart. So let's break this chart down. Let's pull it up and explain it a little bit more detail. I'm just going to make the chart a little bit bigger so we can see a little more closely. I think first of all, we got to take a look at what's in the middle of the chart. Like I said, the chart typically really runs from 1 to 14. Okay, so 7 is the middle of the chart. Okay, 7 is the neutral point. Now, I think it's very important to realize what the 7 is based upon. Okay, they've taken the care to create this chart, and they have built the chart upon something that is at 7. Okay, the middle point of the chart is based upon distilled water. I think that's very important to know, realize, understand. This is what the scientists base the pH chart upon. They base it upon distilled waters. I think that's very important to make note of. That the entire pH chart is measured upon distilled water. And that's because distilled water is actually the natural water. Okay? When the water heats up in the lake, it evaporates, it cools and condenses in clouds. And as it gets cool enough, it actually falls down. It falls down as rain. That rain that falls down, that's really distilled water. It gets trapped in the ground. Unfortunately, it picks up chemicals that we put on our grass or chemicals that put on the fields. The farmers put that on the fields. Lots of chemicals get added. The water gets dirty. It gets dirty from the moment it starts to come out of the clouds. It starts to pick up air pollutions, right? Unfortunately, toxicity is all around us. It falls down onto the ground. It picks up grass pollutions. It picks up farmers' pollutions and pesticides and herbicides. All of this stuff gets into the water. The water gets down into the ground table, and then from the ground table, it comes to the water treatment plant where they clean it with chlorine and fluoride, okay? Drugs, chemicals. We've got to try to get drugs and chemicals out of the body. This is the detoxification process. It's a purification of the body where we're bringing the body back to its true natural essence, right? We want to try to bring the body back to its most natural state. Its most natural state is absent of chemicals and drugs, medications, and physical world toxins that we've taken in, fermentation within the foods, acids within the body. Because the alkaline, the natural body is alkaline. The natural cell is 7.3 to 7.4. That's optimal. The problem is that throughout life, we've picked up habits that tend to shift the body towards the more acid habits, behaviors, and have created a little bit more of an acid balance within the body, specifically within the lymphatic system. Now, all of that will be covered in another video. Today, I really want to address this. Should I have coffee? Should I have tea? Should I have alcohol? Should I have sex? You know, all of this needs to get a little bit more detailed into a look at this pH chart. But, you know, optimal is 7.3 to 7.4. Water, distilled water, is 7. And a lot of the time people talk about taking in water that's alkaline. We don't need to take in alkaline water. We actually don't want to take in alkaline water, because how do they alkalize the water? They alkalize the water by adding things to it, things that we don't really want in our water. Sometimes they trick us. We're fooled into believing minerals are better. Minerals are better. Vitamins are better if I can get that in my water. Vitamin water, you know, all of this stuff. It's kind of a little bit of trickery. It's kind of a little bit of tomfoolery. It's not really true. What's most natural is what's actually true. And what we want to do is we want to drink our water to cleanse the body. It's not for mineralizing the body. It's not for alkalizing the body. Water is for cleansing the body. If we want to talk about hydrating the body hydrates best when we take in potassium and sodium. Now, where are we going to get potassium and sodium? Naturally occurring, not the potassium and sodium in Gatorade, which they try to, again, tell us that it's better. Again, it's always to sell things. We're kind of fooled into getting all your electrolytes in your Gatorade. Really, the electrolytes, sodium, potassium, we have to take them naturally. They occur naturally in the fruits and vegetables, the same place where we find distilled waters. It's not only distilled waters, it's distilled and structured waters that the body wants. If we're talking about hydration, if we're talking about health and energy, we want distilled, structured water. Okay, the water is distilled because the trees take the rain water, which is distilled, and they create a fruit or a vegetable. The plant creates a fruit or vegetable. We eat the fruits or vegetables to get the distilled waters, to get the sodium, potassium in their natural state, the electrolytes, and to get the vitamins and minerals in their natural state, not taking vitamins and minerals, not taking vitamins and minerals in our water, but getting them from our fruits and vegetables. That's the natural way. That's how the body recognizes them and absorbs them. Okay, but not only is the water distilled in the fruits and vegetables, the water is also structured, because distilled water, when it gets hit by the light of the sun inside of a being, it becomes structured. Inside of a being, inside of a plant, inside of a tree, inside of a living entity, inside of a human, the water that's distilled becomes structured. This is a higher level water. Okay, the being, the plant, the tree, whatever has grown the fruit or the vegetable, with the light of the sun, with the consciousness of the being, the human, the animal, the tree, the plant, structures the water. And this is the way we want to get our water: structured, distilled, and structured. Okay? I didn't want to talk all about water, but I think we do need to understand the differences between water, and the understanding that it's not to drink copious amounts of water all of the time. Should I drink water? Should I drink water? It's not right or wrong with the water either. At times, we do want to drink large amounts of water to flush out the body. And at times, it's very good to stop drinking water and allow the body to dry out. It's not right or wrong, and it's not right or wrong with your coffee or tea or your meat or your dairy or your sex either. I got to talk a little bit more about this chart. Okay, the 7 is the midpoint of the chart, the midpoint. There's the 14, the most base, and there's the 1, the most acidic. The 7 in the middle. The cells operate right in the middle, 7.3, 7.4, a little bit to the more alkaline side. Okay, so if we want to restore our body back to greatest health, if we want to detoxify our bodies, if we want to purify our bodies, if we want to bring ourselves back to our most natural space, where we can make our best decisions, where our body and mind is not agitated or affected by acids, because acids will make the mind shifty and jittery. It'll make the emotions and feelings change in the body. Your acid and alkaline balance in your body can change the way you think and the way you feel. So a lot of emotional stuff that's going on, a lot of the way we feel can be adjusted and fixed just by restoring the pH balance inside of our bodies. And a lot of people will tell you that the body stays homogeneous at 7.3, 7.4. Yes, the blood does, but the lymphatic system does not. And the lymphatic fluids are more in the body than the blood. So while the doctors may suggest that pH balance doesn't have anything to do with it, that has not been my experience, and that is not what I teach. And this is where I differ a little bit in opinion to the mainstream, where the mainstream will tell you, eat your meat, eat your vitamins, eat your minerals, drink your alkaline water. It's okay to grab fast food. It's okay to grab processed foods. These things don't matter. Only thing that matters to the mainstream is proteins, carbs, calories. Nuh-uh. We are more than just physical things. We cannot just look at ourselves as a physical entity, a cell, and just say, we need protein, we need fat, we need vitamin, we need mineral. It doesn't work like that. We are not just physical beings. We have a physical element to us, but we also have a mental element to us. And we've got a spiritual element to us. And this is the reason why things can't just be right, wrong, right, wrong. If we were just physical beings, then okay, you could just go right, wrong, right, wrong. Nuh-uh. Everybody's got choice. Everybody has to have the freedom to choose. Now, in my youth, as a detoxification coach, in my youth, as helping people to lose weight, in my youth of trying to heal my own body and life, I have polarized myself a little bit to say, don't drink coffee, don't drink tea, don't drink alcohol, don't stay up late, don't have sex, don't do this, don't do that, don't eat meat, don't eat dairy. I've cut these things out of my life. I did cut these things out of my life. Now, after 3 years of moving through the detoxification and purification process, I've come to realize that, hey, you know what? I got to change my approach a little bit if I want to live for the rest of my life in joy and happiness and interact with my society with joy and happiness. Now, there's no question. If you choose more alkaline choices in your life, your detoxification process will be faster. Okay, so the quick answer is, hey, cut out tea, cut out coffee, cut out alcohol, cut out meat, cut out dairy, cut it all out. Move to fruits and vegetables and emptiness, and do that as much as you can. That's the fastest way to detoxify your body. Want to go even faster? Cut out the food entirely. Go empty as long as you can. Extend those fasts. Simple answers, right? Right, wrong, right, wrong. It's not as simple as that, because each of us is an individual. And if you start to look at the chart, you start to see some things. Some foods you like and some foods you don't, right? If you look at the chart, you start to see, let's move first down to the more acidic side of the chart. okay? If we move down to the more acidic side of the chart here, we'll see down at, 3 and, lower, anything lower than 3, we're talking about the colas, Coca-Cola, right? Off the chart. Do I like to drink Coca-Cola? I like Coca-Cola. I'm not saying I'm never going to drink Coca-Cola again, okay? But you got to understand, if you're drinking colas, if you're drinking Coca-Cola at an acid of 2.3, you're going to have to offset that. If you're enjoying things that, allow you to indulge in something, you're going to have, the next day where you're going to end up staying a little more empty, or you're going to stay a little more alkaline, because you're going to let your body recuperate from that. It's not that you can't do something. It's that if you're going to indulge in this, you've got to understand what's going on. Listen, healing your body, changing your life, doing it forever and ever is not about being perfect. Okay, it's just about really understanding what's going on. It's a change of mindset. We need to get some new information into our heads if we want to understand how to heal or change something in our life. We got to get into a new understanding. We need to have the true understanding, not the understanding that lines the pockets of the few at my expense, at the expense of my health or the expense of others' health. Okay? We all need to learn how to take our own health under our own control and management if we want to heal or change our lives for good. That's what I'm talking about. Losing the weight forever. Okay? If you want to do something forever, it's not about stopping something forever, unless you choose to. If you want to live without food, that's your choice. That's your possibility. Or that's my choice. Or that's my possibility. If I want to live without coffee or tea or sex, that's my choice. It's not for me to tell you what to do. However, if you look at the chart, you'll see down here, sodas, more acidic things, pickles. But look also, tobacco smoke, chemicals and drugs like NutraSweet, Sweet and Low, processed foods, all of those, aspartame, microwaved foods are all on the more acid chemistry base. If we're eating foods like this, we're going to put more acid into the body. So if you're using microwave foods, if you're eating animal proteins, pork and lamb and fish, right? If you're drinking coffee, eating popcorn, cooked foods, right? Nuts and seeds, beef, all of this stuff is more on the acid side of chemistry. Okay? These things are going to leave your body a little bit more acidic. Okay? It doesn't mean that you can't indulge in them. It's not about being perfect. Nobody's going to be perfect. Okay? You can't live your life in perfection. There is no perfect. It's all about choice. The thing is that if we can, trend ourselves more to the alkaline side, if we make more alkaline choices most of the time, then we can indulge some of the time. I don't think anyone needs to be perfect. What we need is to be more perfect than imperfect. And that's why I like to set up my program the way I do, that you can have parts of the week where you're committed to being as perfect as you can, and then parts of the week that give you some freedom, a little bit of wiggle room. This is how we have to live. Okay, the law of rhythm, right? The law of polarity, right? The law of feminine and masculine. Two sides. It cannot just be one side and the other side is wrong. We cannot live that way. Okay, so if you want to give up your coffee or tea, then maybe on the weekend you're going to allow yourself to have it. Or maybe when you get into a social event, you're going to allow yourself to have it. Or maybe you're going to allow alcohol to be, out of most of the time, Monday to Friday, but you're going to allow it on the weekends, or you're going to allow it at social events, or you're going to allow it on your birthday or Christmas or Easter or Thanksgiving. You allow yourself to have it at those times. And if you do have it, then maybe the next day you're going to adjust with a little bit more emptiness or a little bit more alkaline food choices. Now, also take a look. If I look down on the most acidic aspects, worry is on there. Lack of sleep is on there. Stress is on there, right? So maybe I give up coffee. Maybe I give up black tea, which is more acidic than coffee. If you notice on the chart, vinegar. Maybe I cut out vinegar or reduce vinegar in my life, but I'm still not sleeping enough, and I'm still managing my stress incorrectly, and I'm still worrying like crazy about my kids or about my weight, right? Now, even if I do the right things with coffee or tea or meats or dairy, even if I change those things in my life and I start going more alkaline, if I'm still filled with worry and lack of sleep and stress, then all of those things will make my body acidic. So can you see? It's maybe not the coffee or the tea. You know, sometimes people come to me and they say, well, I gave up my coffee and I gave up my tea and I gave up my meats and I gave up my sugar and I gave up and I stopped having sex and I stopped cheating on my wife. Why isn't everything working for me? Well, have you changed your lack of sleep, the way you cope with your life, the way you manage your stress? Are you still smoking cigarettes? Are you still using sweet and low? Are you still using chemicals and medications, right? It may not be that you need to give something up. It may just be that you need to change your perspective, because stress is something we can change with a matter of perspective. And for you personally, it may be that you need to change the way you interact with your world more so than you need to give up coffee or tea or alcohol or sex. It depends who you are, what you've been doing, the habits that you've currently been engaged in, how you're living your life, how you're interacting with your life. Okay? It's not just black or white. It's a combination of both. And it really depends how you're currently living, right? If you've currently been interacting with your world in that way, then hey, it may be a great idea for you to make a switch. Rather than say something is right or wrong, now I'm more inclined to say, you know, how have you been doing it up to this point? If you've been drinking coffee for the last 20 years, it might be a fantastic idea for you to experience life without coffee for a while. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to cut it out for good. If you've been interacting with your world with alcohol for 10, 20, 30 years, it may be a wonderful time for you to experience the other side, the law of rhythm, the law of polarity, the law of two forces, feminine and masculine. Okay, we've got to live by the laws. We've got to get into alignment with the laws of our universe. This is a universe of cause and effect. We are responsible for what we are creating. How are we interacting with our world? Are we interacting with our world with alcohol and coffee and sex? Is that how we're finding our joy? There's nothing wrong with that. But that's a choice. Everybody's free to choose. And you can choose one thing for a while, and then you can maybe make a shift and choose something else. It's not right or wrong. It's just a little change. And we can experiment with alkalizing our body by removing coffee, removing tea, removing alcohol, removing meats, removing dairy for a period of time, for a couple of weeks or months or years if you choose. Or you could just remove it from most of the time. 4 or 5 days of the week, I'm not drinking coffee and alcohol, but I indulge on the weekends, right? Maybe I'm going to enjoy meats on the weekends and dairies on the weekends. Maybe I'm going to have cooked foods and processed foods on the weekends. Maybe I'm going to allow myself a little bit of behavior on the weekends that I do like, that maybe are a little bit more acidic in nature. And then I'm going to pick up the slack by moving to, during the week, I'm going to cut out all of those behaviors and things. Everyone's going to choose for themselves what's right for them. It's not that something is right or wrong. It's that, hey, if I've been polluting my body in such and such a way, if I've engaged in habits and behaviors that have created an acid trend in my life, that I may need to correct that. And the way to correct that may be to alkalize my body. Now, if I'm choosing more alkaline foods during the week, then maybe I can relax and enjoy my coffee or alcohol on the weekends, or my meats and my dairies. Okay? Don't make this about torture. Okay? It's not about torture. It's about love. It's about coming to what we really are. It's about finding our true nature. It's about finding a way to interact lovingly with more of your world. And if that means loving your food, it may mean loving your food for you. If it may mean loving your exercise, it may mean that you need to learn how to love your exercise. It may mean that you need to learn how to love your partner or your children or your friend or your parent or your career. Or you may need to just change the way you think and interact with any other aspect of your life. This is a much bigger question than just yes or no, right or wrong. Okay? We've got to consider the forces of our universe. We've got to consider what's happened in the past. We've got to consider where we want to go. And we've got to consider how quickly we want to get there. Okay? The Melon Man, leaving you with some food for thought. Okay? Talking a little bit about the pH scale, about the science of detoxification, which is an alkalization of the body, restoring the body to its most natural and healthy space. Because when we're there, the cells, the nervous system are happy and healthy. Health and happiness is within. Have yourself a super terrific day.